Good morning. At least it is morning for me here in St. John's, Newfoundland. It is about 7 a.m. I went out for a walk to a local grocery store. I bought some potatoes and some rice and some soy sauce. I'm cooking a stew later on for kids and myself. Being a single father has its advantages and disadvantages. But luckily kids help out a lot, so it's not that bad. Yeah, I mean, it's a struggle every day. Everybody struggles all the time. Just not everybody goes on Facebook Live or YouTube to post about their struggles. Most of us silently fight our own wars, which is great. Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right, in the words of our late John Lennon. I'm going to post down in the links somewhere where I am right now, so you can see it for those of you who are not from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. We are at the Rooms. It is a local museum called the Rooms again. And I would like to share one story with you. This is a huge compound. I mean, you can see it in Google Maps. There's a big park in front of us. There's trees, it's greenery. And the building itself is huge. It's on 4 floors. I played concerts there. They organize different events. It's a beautiful venue. When I first moved to St. John's, Newfoundland, in 1996, after the war in former Yugoslavia, I became a student at university after a lot of paperwork, obviously. Funny thing is, I remember when I was applying for the university, and they asked me whether I finished high school or not. And I attended the military high school in former Yugoslavia, and I had no documents for it, of course. One of the things that they told me was, well, that's fine, you're 21 years old, so we assume that you have a high school degree, so you can continue. So the years of struggle I went through in military college to complete that degree were for nothing, really. In the end, it didn't really matter. Sometimes, you get stuck in these things and you think, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, You try so hard, but in the end, those things really don't matter. But you know what? At least you've spent time somehow and you did something, and in the end, it's okay, I guess. As long as you survive, it's fine. That's my motto. Don't hurt anybody else. I mean, if you can avoid, that's the best thing. Don't hurt others and don't hurt yourself. Those are kind of the basic things. Basic rules of mine and anybody's life, I think it should be. Back to the Rooms. I remember again, while attending this course, Cambridge University course for teaching English in South Korea, we were taught about different ways people get to the point. For example, when Asians or Koreans in particular, they try to get a point, they start like from this point. They say, well, there's something I wanted to say to you, and if you would like to hear. So they circle, they beat around the bush, as the English people say, and they go, and then ba ba da da da, and then finally they say. So the first 10 minutes of the conversation you could just kind of skip until you get the request at the end. English people have a completely different way of saying. Italians or Europeans, they have this tangent when they start speaking about the rooms, and then boom, they go off somewhere else. And then they come back, boom, then they go off somewhere else, and then they come back. It's all over the place. I will tell you about the British later. It's the most insidious thing ever. Back to the Rooms. So when I came here in 1996 and I started attending university in 1997, excuse me, I had a lot of different part-time jobs. one of my part-time jobs was an archaeologist. I wasn't like Indiana Jones, obviously. Eldine Jones, maybe. So yes, I became an archaeologist. By the way, I'm representing my fringe community with the fringe. Big shout out to my friends who are members and a part of this community, which goes to our self-support and integration, inclusiveness, just like the rooms itself. You know, the big sign in front of the rooms is that says we all belong here, and that's one of the things that we, the members of the fringe are trying to talk about, because you know it's always been like that. There's the majority, and then there's the minority, and the people who live on the fringe who don't really get a chance to speak or voice their opinions, because there's a way that we all have to be, and then there's also other ways. Again, the Italian style of speaking. So yes, I became an archaeologist, and at that time, this area here was just a hill. It was just a big hill right here in downtown St. John's. However, a long time ago, I guess in, I don't know, 15th, 16th, 17th century, you can read about this information, you know, at the room's website. There was a fort here called Fort Townsend or something like that. And it was shaped kind of like a star, one of those Illuminati signs, shapes. And it was a fort for I don't know how long. I have no idea what happened to it. It was destroyed. The time took its toll, and it was just covered, you know, with the ground, with soil, and you know. Fast forward to the war in former Yugoslavia, and me immigrating to Canada and getting a job as an archaeologist, and somehow I get a job to excavate Fort Townsend here in downtown St. John's. Luckily, I had friends who actually were in charge of the whole project, and they hired us as part-time workers. I met this beautiful girl while working here part-time. We ended up dating for a little while, and then she left me for another guy. Story of my life. That's okay. So it was the greatest job ever, you know. That they came up to us and they told us, okay, this is where the fort is. Right there is the original wall. It's still there, but you know, if you come here, you can visit for yourself. They decided, you know, that to excavate this, to dig out the wall and to try to find what they call artifacts, or things that were left behind that could, you know, shed a light about what really went on here and things like that, about the life and, you know, whatever. So by finding these little things from the past, they can figure out how people lived before, what they did, and what happened here. We had no idea about the whole thing, so a friend of myself and I were hired, you know, at the same time. I think I got him a job as well. I told him, we're just like, you know, digging out trenches pretty much, because this is something we're used to, being from a war-torn country. So the two of us got ourselves a pick, a shovel, and started digging out things, and we were like the best workers. We would look at all these people around just like slowly digging out the dirt, you know, with these like precise tools, and looking at every single thing that they found, whether it was a rock or a piece of plastic. We were just flabbergasted, because just they were so slow and meticulous in their work. We were like bulldozers. I called myself a Bosnian bulldozer. Yeah, let's dig. We came up with this tune. The tune was Vadi taj kamen, Vadi taj kamen, which translates to like, dig out that rock. We just dug and, you know, the person in charge would come up and look at us and say like, wow, my God, you guys are like digging out this like so fast. Have you been finding anything, like any artifacts or something? Like, nah, artifacts? What is that? We were explained, we were told what these things were, but we just didn't pay attention. Finally, he said, these are the small remains of whatever happened before. Could be like like a button or like a piece of china shop, like a cup, like a little piece of clay, plastic, or I'm sure they didn't have plastic in 17th century, but like ceramics or something like that. It was like, yes, we found a whole bunch of things like that. We just threw it over there in the garbage with the rest of the soil. So, and the funny thing was that really, like, the way we were digging out things, like it was as if we were digging out trenches around. Just we were going deep into the ground and passing things around. And my friend was wearing these blue overalls with a white hat, and he wrote UN on it. So he looked like a peacekeeper observing this Bosnian bulldozer digging out a mass grave. That's what we had in our minds. We were thinking we were digging out like mass graves, or excavating like something that happened in the Second World War, like that the Germans left behind, or something like that. Trauma is everything. It's something that's really difficult to explain, but it becomes a part of who you are. You see everything through the lens of your trauma, of your own experience. A person from a war-torn country and a person from a like a peaceful country look at one object and they see completely two different things. What is something innocent for one person, it is completely dangerous to another. And this speaks about triggers, something that can trigger you. Like if you see something, you just lose it. Another story again that I wanted to say in a different video, of course, is about this person who every time she would see a picture or a video of the president of Serbia, goes into like complete trance, just escapes reality altogether. You can imagine what kind of trauma she's undergone to just the sight of that person just takes her away from this reality like immediately. Imagine living like that. Imagine working, having family, working around town, and somebody says something when you see a picture or something reminds you, boom, you're gone. You're just gone. You in 1 second you go from like walking in this beautiful, peaceful, setting to like boom, the war, the rape, the pilgrimage, the burning. Every time people ask me, where are you from? And I'd say I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina. In that 1 second, I go back. Just just saying Bosnia and Herzegovina. You cannot say Bosnia and Herzegovina without switching and going back. Again, that's another story. So yes, at the rooms, the person in charge who realizes that we have been digging out these trenches and just taking the dirt away, because in our mind we assumed we just have to excavate the fort. There's a fort buried in the ground. We are going to excavate it, expose it, and they're going to build a museum there around it. That's what we imagined. Of course, there were other things in our minds as well too. So the person in charge told us, okay, you gotta put these things down. And they gave us these toothbrushes and little things, little scoops. So we started like slowly scooping things out and brushing things and looking for the artifacts. And my God, being like ADHD driven, like just with our minds screaming at us all the time. We just could not stand that work. You know, sitting down and doing something peacefully, you know, looking at different artifacts and just slowly brushing the dirt away from them, imagining what happened. You know, being there present at that moment was something that, you know, a couple of kids that came out of a war-torn country could not do at that time. We were both like in our 20s or something like that. So we quit. We spent about a month excavating the Fort Townsend, and years later the whole museum was built here, and there's a beautiful park right here, and it's a beautiful area. I come here often to cry. This morning I came here to kind of shed a few tears about something, to release some of the negative things that have happened to me. And you know, some days I come here to have a picnic with kids or with somebody else, or some days I come here to play music. It's just a beautiful area. The museum is definitely worth visiting. I strongly recommend you go to the rooms, observe some music as well too. I played several shows there. Beautiful place. A lot of times it's free of charge to get in, and it's just such a good experience. Nevertheless, every time I come here, I remember this story of us, you know, trying to excavate mass graves here at Fort Townsend and the rooms, and destroying all the artifacts along the way that would have been displayed somewhere in the rooms if hadn't we, you know, destroyed them. Again, I don't think we destroyed much, really. Like, we did dig for like for several days, and just, you know, again, the greatest thing ever was just like, you know, realizing, oh my God, look at all these people doing something, and we are the best. You know, when you think you're the best and everybody else is doing something different, maybe you are at fault. Then again, maybe you're not. It's very difficult to know which of us is the fringe, which of us is the majority. Is the majority always right? Look at what happened to September 11. We all know what happened. We all know how it was orchestrated. To this day, one of the greatest experts of cultural value from Newfoundland is a story of come from away related to September 11, and it speaks about Newfoundland hospitality. And we focus on that. We focus on that hospitality. Say, yes, we did something amazing. We helped out people during the times of crisis, ignoring altogether what happened and who caused the crisis. So when you focus on something, it becomes the reality, but you ignore the rest of the things. So if we ignore the fringe, if we ignore the people around us who are suffering, then we can enjoy our lives. My professor told me, you have to learn to compartmentalize or decompartmentalize, put things into little rooms. So this is the room for the war, this is the room for the peace, and these two cannot combine. Here at the rooms, everything goes together. The history, the present, and the future. So this whole thing, live in the moment, doesn't really work. Yes, being present is very important, but we are more than just the present moment. We are generations. We are thousands of years of DNA within our blood. We are the universe in one. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Be careful what you do with it. Enjoy yourselves, If you are here in St. John's, come visit the rooms. Remember the story of two Bosnian archaeologists. Untold story of the rooms. How Bosnian archaeologists excavated a Newfoundland fort. Thank you for watching and listening to these 20 minutes of absolutely everything. See you in the next video. I love you all. Be cool. If you have to cry, cry. And remember, after crying, there will be smiling. That's all I can say. Love you all. Bye.